Secretary of the Government of Dominica. Let me say a special good afternoon to everyone present, the Acting Prime Minister, Honourable Rayburn Blackmore, Minister for Public Works and Ports, Honourable Miriam Blanchard, Minister for Tourism and Urban Renewal, Honourable Mr. Robert Tong, Honourable Dr. Kenneth Daru, Minister for Health and the Environment. We also have present with us Senator Josiah Benoit, just walked in, the Minister Charles, Senator Josiah Benoit, Mr. Ambrose George. I also want to recognize your presence as well. The contractors here present, the officials of the Ministry of Tourism, of Public Works and Ports, including the Permanent Secretary, as well as the Chief Technical Officer and other officials within the Ministry of Public Works and Ports. Thank you very much for your work and for your presence here. The contractors, the members of the media, a very special good afternoon to you, and thank you very much for your participation and your continued partnership with the state. This ceremony here this afternoon, we're expected to be a continuation of what you saw yesterday. You heard Minister Miriam Blanchard mention at the groundbreaking ceremony of the West Bridge project that there will be 30 projects signed in short time, and you're seeing the manifestation of that here today, and 17 contracts will be signed here this afternoon. Without further ado, let me call on Mr. Kendall Johnson, the PS in the Ministry for Public Works and Ports, to address you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Once again, let me express my pleasure. I think it's all our pleasure to be here again for the signing of yet another set of contracts for what we have termed priority intervention works. Those are basically small projects, small to large, designed specifically to address issues of safety and continued good performance of our road infrastructure and also certain sections of our rivers. Yesterday we signed 4 contracts with works in the Roseau Valley in the sum of EC $506,000. Today we'll be signing 17 contracts for works targeting the following areas: Castle Comfort, Girardel, Egliston, the Castle Comfort Link Road, the Pichelin to Geneva, and also Pichelin to Bagatelle. The value of contracts we are signing today are in the sum of a little over $4 million. So as a brief synopsis, this is the scope of the session today, the numbers of contracts and the values of contracts. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Johnson. And now we will call on the Minister responsible for Youth, Sports, Culture and Constituency Empowerment, the Honourable Justina Charles, to give your words.
Pleasant good afternoon to all my colleagues and all those present here this afternoon, and to the listening audience. I want to begin first of all by commending the staff of the Public Works Department Division for the tremendous work that they've been doing in the preparation for today's activity. I also want to recognize the many contractors who are here with us this afternoon for the signing ceremony of the projects to be undertaken. At this point, I want to say that as the parliamentary representative for the Granby constituency, I am elated and I'm very, very much satisfied with the level of work that has started to reach thus far. And I know for us in the South, it's going to number one, create employment. It's an employment creation opportunity for many of our young people. And for me, I see there we have Mr. Shane Alexander from Grand Bay, who has been a very diligent contractor for the many years that I've known him. And today he will be signing $1.2 million for the construction of a culvert and dredging and some other additional works to the Geneva area approaching the Geneva playing field. And we know that area was damaged during Tropical Storm Erica and therefore interfered in the free flow of vehicle. Some temporary work has been done there, but for now we are seeing some additional work going to take place there. I want to thank him for the tremendous work that he's been doing. I know he normally employs a minimum of 15, and I'm expecting an increase in the contingent of young people that will be working with him in this project. I want to thank him for the efficient use of resources throughout the time that I know him as a contractor in the area, without compromising the quality of work that I am usually very satisfied with the level of work that he does in the Granby constituency. So I am elated that at least somebody from the South, from my constituency, has been selected, and it means therefore he has placed himself in a position where he can be qualified as a contractor. I want to use this opportunity also to call on our many small contractors to position themselves so that when those opportunity arises that they can capitalize and take advantage of it. And it's an opportunity for them to grow into bigger contractors and can undertake larger projects. And it's also an opportunity to make sure that we can employ quite a few of our young people. I really pray that this job will continue to make free flow of our traffic easier and will reduce on the cost of damage to our vehicle, our bus drivers and other drivers along the Grand Bay route. We know that is the beginning of work to be undertaken on the Grand Bay Road, and even this morning on the news we heard of the money that was promised from British, and that definitely will enhance even all the work on the Grand Bay Road even greater. So I really want to wish the contractors the very best as they undertake the work that is to be carried out, and I trust that even the people who will be employed in the work will be diligent in terms of coming to work on time and executing the work with pride to ensure that at the end we can all benefit. It is not a government project, while it is funded by monies raised by the government, but definitely it is something that's going to benefit the people of the South, and we must see it as our project, and we must all cooperate with them as they undertake the work and to ensure that life in the South is made easier. So I really want to thank all those who have worked diligently to bring us to that stage post-Erica, and I want to commend the government for being able to tap the resources for the many programs that we offer and our friendly governments, that we can tap the resources to make this project possible. So once again, thanks very much.
Thank you very much, Minister Charles. And as we continue with this very important ceremony, let me now call on the Minister responsible for Health and Environment, Dr. Kenneth Daru.
Thank you very much, Mrs. Jean-Baptiste Aaron. Let me first of all recognize the presence of the Acting Prime Minister, Honorable Reuben Blackmore, my colleague ministers, Minister Blanchard, who has worked so diligently and feverishly during the past weeks to make all of this happen. She's been a very busy minister since taking on the portfolio of Minister of Public Works. Colleague Minister Charles, all the ministers present, the staff of the Ministry of Public Works and Ports, the media, and of course our much, I see many contractors here to do the real stuff of this afternoon, which is the signing of the contracts. I know I'm on the program as the Minister of Health and the Environment, but I think my capacity here this afternoon is more as a Member of Parliament for the Pichelin constituency, a constituency that you know was ravaged by Tropical Storm Erika, August 27th of last year, and of course approaching another hurricane season, official hurricane season. I'm not sure why. I always ask myself why something as devastating and destructive as a hurricane season is given this nice adjective official, but that's the way it is. And of course, a number of concerns would have been raised by the residents as it pertains to the safety and the users, of course, of the Bagatelle, well, Roseau to Bagatelle or Pichelin if you want to go further north. Road and the safety of the road. And I'm really relieved as the Member of Parliament for Pichelin, the signing of this contract this afternoon of almost $4 million, of course broken down into smaller lots, is a lot of pressure off my back. And of course we would know that following Tropical Storm Erika, two of the communities, Pichelin and Dubic would have been displaced, and attempts are being made at relocating these two communities. And of course with Dubic nearing completion, and of course, this roadworks is going to go a long way, as I said, into easing up the pressure of me as a Member of Parliament. Of course, Minister Charles spoke about the 30 million pounds that has been committed towards by the British government. You would have heard the Honourable Prime Minister, Minister of Finance speak about it this morning. But what we've been saying all along is that while we wait for this big money, for want of a better term, that we as a government, we just cannot sit by idly and wait for this big money that have been committed. We have to ensure that our citizens are protected, that they are safe, and that the roads are user worthy or user friendly. So this is what we're trying to do. So while we wait for this big money to make these huge interventions, huge river walls, etc., and I'm sure the Minister of Public Works will speak a bit more of it, we have to ensure that we do whatever little that we can. We have to show that we are helping ourselves. And I'm really, as I said, I'm really relieved as a Member of Parliament, because over the past few weeks we would have had small agitation and concerns by the members of these communities. We would have seen some work started already in the Roseau area, that's the Roseau end of the Bagatelle River, where we would have some concerns as to the crossing, especially each time it rains, since Tropical Storm Erika, we would have had heavy siltation, etc. And as we speak, work would be ongoing and probably nearing completion. That would make life easier for the people of the Roseau area. We have also seen several, I think, some in the region of $300,000 to $400,000 being spent already on the Pichelin River dredging. So whatever additional works is going to be done here, some in the region of another, maybe over $500,000, I think is welcome work. So I really want to thank everybody concerned, the Minister for Public Works and her staff for working, as I said, diligently and feverishly during the past months to make today possible. The Minister of Finance, of course, for making the monies available, and I said helping make our life easier as a parrep, and of course, first and foremost, for recognizing that we're approaching another hurricane season and something has to be done. As I said, while we wait on the major intervention. So I'm hoping that our people, the residents of the area that are going to be impacted by these projects, understand that and understand the tremendous financial burden that has been placed on the government by Tropical Storm Erika. We heard the Minister of Finance a few weeks after Erika speak about 1.4 billion EC dollars at the time that Erika left in a wake. So we have to understand, I said, and I think applaud the efforts of all concerned, especially the Minister and Ministry of Finance, for making these funds available, most of it local funding, if not all, in order to ensure, as I said, that we don't enter the new hurricane season. We've at least tried our best to increase the safety for our residents in the affected areas. So once again, I really want to thank you for listening to me, and also to tell the residents, those of you listening on radio, that your government will continue to do all they can to ensure that your life returns to normalcy in the quickest time as possible. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Minister Daru. And at this time, I would like to call on the Minister with responsibility for executing the vision of the Government of Dominica in the portfolio of Public Works and Ports, Minister Miriam Blanchard.
Thank you, Mrs. Aaron. I'd like to recognize the Acting Prime Minister, Honorable Rayburn Blackmore, my cabinet colleagues, P.S. Johnson of the Ministry of Public Works and Ports, CTO of the Ministry of Public Works and Ports, the other technical staff of the ministry, contractors, the media is present. Good afternoon to you all, and thank you for joining us today at the signing of these contracts. Personally, I am pleased to be part of this ceremony, which is a testament of the government's commitment to the rehabilitation of the island following the ravages of Tropical Storm Erica. Following the signing of 4 contracts yesterday, today we will sign 18 contracts totaling just over 4 million EC dollars. In general, the works will again focus on restoring and rehabilitating the infrastructure, all aimed at enhancing the safety of the public. This government remains committed to ensuring the well-being and safety of road users and all citizens of this country. We have already heard from my cabinet colleagues representing various constituencies of the impact of these projects, not only at the community level, but one that we think will focus and impact on the country in general. I would, however, wish to reiterate that these projects will have a positive impact on the economy of this country, will create jobs, and improve the standard of living of many citizens of Dominica. Moving forward, the ministry will continue to focus on addressing the damage to the physical infrastructure caused as a direct consequence of Tropical Storm Erica last year. I wish to say here that while these contracts have been awarded for only some geographic areas, it does not mean that there are no projects planned for other areas. In fact, we have a number of other contracts that have been tendered that we expect to sign in the next coming days or weeks. In addition, we hope to do a comprehensive road rehabilitation program, particularly in the city of Roseau and its environs, as well as in other parts of the island soon. Yesterday at the signing ceremony, and Minister Charles also alluded to the statements made by the Honorable Prime Minister yesterday and before publicly, that we have commitments from other partners, including the government of the People's Republic of China and the British government, to undertake major works to restore the physical infrastructure in different parts of the island. I too would like to extend my congratulations to the contractors who have been awarded the respective contracts. Thank you for your interest and participating in our bidding process. The staff of the Ministry of Public Works and Ports looks forward to working closely with you in the execution of these works as outlined in the respective contracts. We look forward to your usual high quality of work as you have done in the past, and the conclusion of the works within the stipulated timeframes and work plans that you have submitted. Last, but by no means least, I too wish to thank the staff of the Ministry of Public Works and Ports for their continued commitment to the work program of the ministry and to the government's rehabilitation efforts. We would not be here without you, and I say a special thank you to all of you here today. Again, my congratulations to all of the contractors here today. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Minister Blanchard. And as you may be aware, Prime Minister Roosevelt Skerritt is currently out of state, and acting in his place is the Honourable Minister for Justice, Immigration and National Security, Honourable Rayburn Blackmore. It gives me great pleasure to invite you to the mic to give an address, the Acting Prime Minister, Minister Blackmore.
Thank you very much, Press Secretary. I also speak as a resident of the Girodale Castle Comfort area. And of course, I've been traversing these roads for a long time, and I'm very happy as a resident that the government of Dominica is placing some emphasis on the road infrastructure in that area. Let me, at this point, recognize my colleague ministers, Honorable Charles, and the Minister for Public Works, Ms. Miriam Blanchard, who has been doing this for a tremendous work. And notwithstanding the fact that the current minister is a woman, of course, it speaks volume that we are emerging as a country and we are emerging as a people. I also want to recognize in our mix Senator Benoit and the Minister for Tourism, Mr. Tong, Honorable Tong, sorry, former minister, and my constituents, Honorable George, Mr. Ambrose George. Well, it's something we have in common. That actually before, I used to say to him, I'm the pirate, and he is my pirate. He was the minister for the pirate at the time for the Roseau Constituency. And I want to recognize in a special way also the permanent secretary in the Ministry of Public Works and Port, and the chief technical officer, the senior maintenance engineer, Mr. Dwight Lewis, and of course I also recognize Mr. Larry, an engineer in the Ministry of the said department. We have members of the media fraternity, and when I walked in early on, I asked of the press secretary whether we had a new media fraternity in Dominica, because I recognized for the first time I was seeing different faces. But I was surprised to the fact that they're all local contractors, and that is very, very important. I think it is important, therefore, for that to be underscored. The Minister of Works, who spoke just now, made reference to the fact that we are currently undertaking a number of what can be characterized as small intervention to be followed by much more comprehensive interventions. But I want to say that the Labour Party administration, after assuming office, had a very deliberate policy direction insofar as our infrastructural development is concerned, specifically as it refers to our roads and bridge infrastructure. You may recall that we had undertaken a road audit, and we knew, and at the time when it was done, out of the 320 kilometers of our main road, about 25% at the time, in 2007, when that audit was undertaken, was in fair condition. We had developed a time horizon within which time we could have gotten our main road into excellent condition. And we were looking at 2020 to have gotten to this point of having a road at 100% excellent condition. Before Erica struck this monster storm, we had gotten to the point where we had arrived at 65% of our main road being in excellent condition. And for a small developing state with tremendous challenges, that was remarkable. All of us know what we suffered, personally, and of course, insofar as our infrastructural development is concerned. And I heard endlessly from the Prime Minister and other experts that we're going to require to the tune of $1.5 billion to build back better our roads and our houses. It's important, therefore, for us to ensure that what we do is better than what previously obtained. You heard from the Minister for Health that those interventions are going to be comprehensive. But in the interim, there are some things we can do to make our roads safer and more motorable. So today is significant that we're signing 18 contracts that have been advised to the tune of $4.1 million. As we seek to build back our roads better, we therefore have a responsibility as a government to ensure that in that effort, that all and sundry can enjoy a piece of the national cake. It is important, therefore, as a government, that we create an environment whereby we can create opportunity for people to build back better lives. And I think it's within that perspective, therefore, what we are doing here today must be understood and appreciated. That everyone who will be signing a contract today is either from the Castle Comfort area, be it Girodale, be it Kingshill, and in the Granby area, and then you have Vidal from Pichelin area, where we no longer have Pichelin as a formal community now, but that's where he's from. Well, he's from Collier, but resident for a long time, for obvious reasons, in that part of the country. So it's a situation whereby that all of us can benefit from the rebuilding effort. And that is why I find, as a politician who has emerged, because you have to learn, you have to mature into politics, that we have to use that opportunity to come together. We cannot build back a better country if, first of all, we do not build back better relationship with each other. And we, from the go-ahead, the Honorable Prime Minister had actually extended that olive branch, because we can have the best of houses, the best of roads, but if our general disposition as a people is messed up, then the effort to build back this country better is going to be in vain. That is why it is so important for each of you here today, when you go out to your respective job site, to do your job with the highest degree of diligence and commitment, and to develop that sense of ownership to that project. I have the utmost confidence in you, because as the Minister for Works and Public Works for almost 7 years, I know most of you inside there, and excellent human beings, and therefore I do not expect anything less from you. Having said that, I think I must say something about the west part of Dominica, and that's where I'm from. I'm representing wonderful people within my constituency. And as you heard from the Minister just now, in due time, other contracts will be signing for different localities within the country. And that includes a place called Shimekowe, where I used to come behave as a little boy, which is currently cut off. And I want to commend the ministry and the minister for that, because already the bid documents have been returned, and the contractor won the contract, but he actually suffered a serious accident. And I wish him all the best. And very soon we'll be doing a signing also for the Campbell area and a number of other interventions. So I wish you well, and I want to again commend the staff of the Ministry of Public Works, who have been doing a tremendous job under trying circumstances. And just to say in closing, because I'm around, people talk, and there are a number of things to be done. But if we're going to build back a better physical infrastructure, preceding that has to be the required investigative work. You cannot just go and just build a bridge, because Erica should have taught us a lesson. And then we have to ensure that we do proper geotechnical investigation if we're going to build bridges in areas that were affected. So when we build that structure, it can be done properly. We have to ensure that our rivers are properly mapped, because we have to go back to the hinterland, because to get a proper analysis as to what caused that devastation. So there's a number of things that we're doing, and I think in the circumstances, things could have been worse. But I'm happy that we're making an effort, and in the main, people recognize that the government is trying. Rome was not built in a day. And of course, but together, because in a democracy, it makes sense to have varying views. But there should be no variance in views as to who is a genuine Dominican. Each of us should be a genuine Dominican. And every genuine Dominican wants what's best for this country. So I wish you well, and may the good Lord bless you, and thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Acting Prime Minister Blackmore. Ladies and gentlemen, we have gotten to the point that we are really here, the crux of the matter, which is the signing of the contracts, as this government takes on this very ambitious initiative of building back better after Tropical Storm Erica. And at this time, ladies and gentlemen, we will now have the official signing of the contracts.
Yes. Good afternoon again. We will proceed with the signing of the contracts at this moment. We would like to call following contractors: Mr. Peter Titt. Mr. Titt will sign onto a contract with the Permanent Secretary for the construction of retaining wall, 15 meters long by 3.5 meters high, and associated roadworks at the Kingshill, Reigate area. The next contractor will be the Public Works Corporation, so please draw closer. That's okay. That's fine. Yes. The General Manager of the Public Works Corporation, we will sign on. Okay, Mr. Warrington isn't on, he's out of state and will return on Friday, so we will sign after with him. Public Works Corporation, represented by the General Manager, will sign on to two contracts. The first one will be in the amount of $123,970 for the construction of 150 meters by 5.2 meter wide rigid pavement and associated roadworks in the Casa Comfort area. Yes. Let's put it away. The next contract in the sum of $207,073.92 is being signed by the Public Works Corporation for the construction of a retaining wall at Egliston, along the Egliston Main Road, that is. We would like Mr. Gilbert Guy to join here for the next signing. Yes, Mr. Titt signed for. Yes, the acting Prime Minister was wanted to inquire on the area that Mr. Titt will be working, and that would be construction of a retaining wall, Kingsdale Reigate area. So Mr. Guy is signing in the sum of $168,580.23, and that would be for the construction of a retaining wall, some 30 meters long by 3.5 meters high, and associated roadworks along the Castle Comfort Jodel area. I think most persons are familiar with that major slide. Okay. We'll just sign one. All right, we'll just sign one. That's fine. We now call on Mr. Conrad Gedewa, who will sign on to two contracts, one in the sum of $30,000 and the other one in the sum of $68,000. So those are, okay. Let's see, this one. Okay, Mr. Gedewa, contract in the sum of $28,000. Please have a seat. Yes, just sign one copy. That's fine. Yeah. After Tropical Storm Erica, we had some damages to residential entrances. So one of the critical entrances in the sum of $28,819 is what we're signing with him in the Castle Comfort area. Next one in the sum of $60,946.12. Will be for the construction of a retaining wall, some 10 meters long by 2.5 meters high, and associated roadworks in the Egliston-Fortney area. We would like to call back Mr. Gilbert Guy, who will be signing again for the construction of a retaining wall. Yes, please. Yes. Mr. Guy, this contract is in the sum of $289,312.86 for the construction of a retaining wall 13 meters long by 3.5 meters high and associated roadworks in the Fortney Castle Comfort area. Link Road. That brings closure to the Castle Comfort Fortney Jodel Egliston Road. We will now go to the Pichelin to Bagatelle. All right. Okay, we call the following contractors. Denison Carrette. Mr. Carrette. Yeah. Mr. Carrette will sign on to a contract in the sum of $235,750 for the construction of 300-meter long by 6-meter wide rigid pavement and associated works in the Pichelin area. Mr. Claude Henderson, please draw close. Mr. Claude Henderson. Mr. Henderson will sign on to a contract for the construction of 180 meters long by 6-meter wide rigid pavement and associated works in the Pichelin area. Mr. Henderson, please draw closer again. Mr. Carrette, please draw closer again. Mr. Denison Carrette will sign a second contract in the sum of $140,961.25 for the construction of 180-meter long by 6-meter wide rigid pavement and associated works in the Pichelin area, Pichelin towards Geneva. Mr. Claude Henderson, please draw closer again. Mr. Henderson will again sign for a contract in the sum of $169,280.86 for the construction of 130-meter long by 5.5-meter wide rigid pavement and associated works in the Geneva area. We call on Mr. on the representative offshore civil and marine. Offshore civil and marine. The Ministry of Public Works will enter into a contractual agreement with offshore civil and marine for the underpinning of abutment walls, repairs to metal bridge deck, rock revetment, and bridge leveling. We all are familiar with the Geneva Bailey Bridge. We call on Mr. Holford Vidal. Mr. Vidal, representative of Villard Excavation. Oh, thanks. Okay, the Ministry of Public Works will sign on to a contract in the sum of $95,795 for river dredging works in the Pichelin area. No. Please remain, Mr. Vidal. We'll also sign today a contract in the sum of $169,050 for river dredging works, 300 meters long, in the Geneva area, with the representative of Vidal Excavation Services. Please join there, Mr. Shane Alexander. Undoubtedly the largest contract that we will be undertaking, and in the sum of $1,207,924.35. That would entail works related to a construction of a new box culvert, rigid pavement, and associated works in the Geneva area close to the playing field. So that is this. Please join here, the representative of Vidal Excavation Services, for one more signing. Okay. The last contract which we will be signing today is in the sum of $197,225 for river dredging works, some 350 meters along the Bagatelle River, and that's just an initial amount of work with Vidal Excavation Services. This brings to closure our signing ceremony. I hand over again to Permanent Secretary P.S. Johnson. We'll then hand over to the Master of Ceremony.
One final part. Thank you very much to all, and again, congratulations. Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, we have come to the formal closing of the ceremony, so I will call on the Chief Technical Officer in the Ministry of Public Works and Ports, Mr. Emil Lancelot, to give the closing remarks and vote of thanks.